Tragedies like the events of this week are a mirror, forcing us to ask hard questions, demanding that we see where our culture is failing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's safe to say that the satanic panic of the 80s with things like Dungeons & Dragons being accused of indoctrinating children into devil worship are finally back. Except it isn't about a silly role-playing game. Oh no. It's about violent video games. What a time to be alive where politicians blame entertainment media to derail the conversation. Let's fucking talk about it.
Welcome to the No Pressure Program.
And before we begin, I'm very aware that other YouTubers have made videos talking about this subject, but I'm more interested in the more unhinged demographic of people that target video games. That being psychotic Christians who would rather blame video games for their kids' behavior instead of their own dogshit parenting. Besides, the more unhinged the subject of my videos, the more entertaining it is to talk about, yes? Also, just a friendly disclaimer, I do not condone witch hunting, nor do I condone harassment and bullying. Also, this video is just my opinion, so please don't attack other people. My objective is to simply criticize the subjects of my video and entertain the audience. Now let's hop into our first topic. Now I know I said we'd be talking about crazy ass Christians, but I just need to get this out of my system. Because watching this video got me a little butthurt. For those of you that don't know, after the school shooting that happened in Texas, Senator Ted Cruz gave a speech at an NRA convention. I'm gonna play what he said in its entirety so that you guys can have all the context that you need. It's only around 40 seconds long.
Tragedies like the events of this week are a mirror, forcing us to ask hard questions, demanding that we see where our culture is failing. Looking at broken families, absent fathers, declining church attendance, social media bullying, violent online content, desensitizing the act of murder in video games, chronic isolation.
It's absolutely fucking disgusting that he uses the school shooting to push an agenda. I'm highly aware that a lot of politicians all over the spectrum do this, and that's why I'm fucking sick of politicians.
Declining church attendance.
Yeah, maybe people aren't going to church anymore because they're tired of people telling them how to live their lives. Has Ted Cruz ever realized that the modern generation is starting to lose faith in God because of the shit the church constantly pulls? Religious trauma is a very real thing. In my own personal experiences, the church and its people have spat on me, telling me that I will rot in hell because I'm bisexual, telling me that the media I consume like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto is gonna turn me into a fucking killer, or that me playing Doom is essentially the same as me worshipping Satan. You know, for the religion that likes to bitch about how video games indoctrinate their children into devil worship, sure love to indoctrinate children themselves. The hypocrisy is so blindingly obvious, but people like Ted Cruz love to kick these logical inconsistencies under the rug so that more people follow the Christian religion. It's gross and scummy, and I am fucking tired of pretending it's not. There's no hate quite like Christian love.
Violent online content, desensitizing the act of murder in video games.
Haven't we done like 40 years worth of research to find that correlation between violent video games and violent individuals? And every time it comes back short, there's no correlation between violent video games and violent people. That's not to say that video games don't increase aggression, but that's what happens when you're doing something that's challenging and competitive in nature. We get frustrated. Stop me if I'm wrong, but don't you guys get irritated, or dare I say it, aggressive when you get your ass kicked in Warzone or Apex? I know I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Losing is frustrating, and I know where they get their research from. They are misrepresenting an article from 22 years ago published by the American Psychological Association. Not only are they using an outdated article, but they're also misrepresenting it, because this article states that violent video games can lead to aggression, but it never states that it can lead to IRL violence, even though they tried really hard to frame it that way. Another article from 2 years ago by Association for Psychological Science states that the connection between violent video games and aggression is dubious at best, stating that the evidence wasn't sufficient enough to make a certain conclusion. However, that isn't to say that violent people aren't attracted to violent video games. quotes, "A study in aggressive behavior shows that everyday sadists prefer violent video games. The sadists even went as far as to say it emotionally benefits them." Which means violent people are attracted to violent video games, but video games do not make people violent. On April 20th, 1999, two teenagers in Littleton, Colorado, Dylan and Eric, conducted a school shooting at Columbine High School. An infamous massacre. A semi-known fact about Eric is that he was an avid Doom player. He used to create levels for Doom back in the 90s, even went as far as to model his high school in Doom. That was the moment that violent video games were really put under a microscope and blamed for all things violent, such as modern massacres like the one conducted in Texas not too long ago. And this uneducated war on video games will last until out-of-touch politicians are out of office, but until then, we're gonna have to fucking deal with it, I guess. Now for the real meat of the video. Well, kinda. Unhinged tweets are fun and all, but I saved the real psychotic shit for the last section of the video, which is reserved for unhinged articles. But this section will still be comical regardless. And the plot just gets even thicker of government knowledge before the incident. Dead by Daylight player threatened to shoot up a school with an AR-15 days before the Texas massacre. Now if you have half a brain, you'd realize this article was published by the Daily Mail, which is infamous for being extremely unreliable, but let's pretend for argument's sake that it was reliable. Apparently Salvador threatened to shoot up a school over a video game, and a woman reported the outburst to the FBI. But does this dipshit realize how much work the FBI has on their table anyway? It takes them years to investigate stuff like this, and you expect them to catch on to a threat and act upon it within a few days? I swear to fucking God, right-wingers just love to make up conspiracies, dude. Those video games are not only recruiting tools, but monitoring and surveillance and neural data collection and programming tools. Hey Texas, the clowns killed your children again, for yet another satanic ritual disguised as a gun grab. With a Twitter handle like that, what the fuck else was I expecting? This is some borderline cult behavior. How out of touch with reality do you got to be to even come close to thinking like this? Has this gasoline huffing fucktard even played Dead by Daylight before? Let alone any video game ever? Because the premise of Dead by Daylight is that you and 4 other survivors tried to avoid the killer and escape. How is that a recruitment tool for devil worshipping? Unless you're referring to when you play as the killer, but even that is a reach. I'm surprised your joints are still intact after reaching that hard. I'd hate to be your kids, dude. I definitely would have shot myself by now.
Do I have your attention, boy? You're about to see something wonderful.
Fuck!
It's just a video game. You're overreacting. Video games like movies and television are how children become indoctrinated. Parents set their kids in front of screens all day instead of raising them. It seems there's been an increase in satanic themed media, but why? Ah yes, the video games indoctrinating the children, not the private Catholic schools that force their religion and morals onto impressionable kids. No, it couldn't be. It must be the video games and movies. Do you see how fucking dumb you sound, my guy? But to answer your question here, it's because satanic stuff makes for really dope-ass themes and stories. Silent Hill 2, for example, the entire premise of the Silent Hill series is that it's your own personal hell, your own demons and your own battles, which makes for a very personal story about the main characters of each game, showing the psychology and philosophy of each individual character. And as for games like Doom, it's fun as hell to kill demons. Are you, a Christian, really gonna complain about entering hell and fighting off the armies of Satan? I thought you people would celebrate such hardcore Christianity, but I guess not. And there's a quintillion more reasons why satanic imagery and themes are more prevalent in modern media. Why don't you give it a try before you spout utter nonsense about subjects you clearly know nothing about? And do you think it's normal that Mortal Kombat had become too successful a franchise? If you pay attention, their logo has the colors of a gay lobby, and that confirms that success is obeying the satanic ideology. You see how video games are also part of the problem? Dog, what the fuck are you on? Just because a gaming company has the gay colors in their logo doesn't mean they fucking worship Satan to get the success they have achieved. Has any of these daft Christians realized that maybe these companies are successful because they make a product that we, as a general populace, enjoy? I fucking love Mortal Kombat. It's just a well-made fighting game. It's really fun to play, you know? There's no satanic conspiracy behind it. Maybe you should crawl out of your Fallout bunker and smell the roses because you're way too fucking paranoid. Oh well, I guess. Maybe eventually you'll learn to actually have fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more tweet to look at before we move on, because my brain's frontal lobe is already deteriorating, and I need some brain power left for the news articles we're gonna look at. Do you think these mass shootings are random, or are they orchestrated by Democrats? Yes, and Satan. Most shootings have some satanic components. They're on SSRIs, listen to satanic heavy metal, play shoot 'em up video games. Witnesses starting with Columbine said the shooters were asking who's your god, say they have a blank stares, they are possessed. It takes a demon to shoot a child point blank. Oh my fucking god. In what reality does any of this make sense? Bro, the internet was the biggest mistake since George and the mullet. Seeing shit like this just makes me wish I was illiterate. I can't take any more tweets. Let's move on before I bash my head against a fucking wall.
Well, listen to me. It won't work.
This section is dedicated to a news article I found by Pulsing, a Nigerian news publication, and the title of the article is "Your Children Are Practicing Satanism and They Aren't Even Aware." Oh fuck me, this will be a fun one. I'm already regretting this. Sadly, a lot of young people are playing certain games without realizing that they promote satanic values. Hear that, guys? I guess me playing the good old Minecraft is me participating in satanic values. Oh wait. Fuck! Well, I guess you got me there. Name I'm not even gonna fucking bother pronouncing. I'll take my L here. Next, you start playing them, and before you know it, you are hooked and you cannot seem to drop your devices. Still, you console yourself with the fact that it's just a game after all. It's not like you're actually punching or killing people. Unknown to you, these games are actually not as innocent as they appear. In fact, it's the devil's playground. Holy shit, boys. According to this article, if you decide to punch a hooker in Grand Theft Auto, you are actively participating in devil worship. I mean, think about it. If you're willing to punch and rob a bunch of ones and zeros, then you obviously will run over an actual person. Just remember, boys and girls, the elderly is 5 points, adults are 10 points, teenagers are 15 points, kids are 20 points, and babies are 100 points. Video games like Ark Survival, Evolve, Left 4 Dead, Call of Duty, and Minecraft allow them to practice their satanic virtues freely. Satanist revered John Shaw shares the truth about games like these. In his own words, you can build every little thing, put a torch where you want it, a tunnel, a walkway, a moat. That's very satanic. Jesus fucking Christ, why are people so adamant about vilifying video games? And I know that you guys are thinking, maybe there are satire publications make refund? Oh, you poor, innocent little soul. How I'm about to destroy your innocence like Betelgeuse destroyed Subaru's psyche. Because I thought the same fucking thing, so I decided to do a quick Google search, but I found nothing about them being satire. So I decided to check their Twitter as well, but I couldn't find anything at even the slightest bit of sarcasm on there either. Either this article is legit or they are the masterclass at fucking with me, because I couldn't find shit. And the rest of their articles is so goddamn painful to read that I do not feel like continuing. I'm retarded enough as it is. I refuse to make it worse with these hit pieces such as this shit. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. In conclusion, please for the love of everything holy, learn that correlation does not equal causation. It's so fucking annoying when people pull that type of shit because it really shows how little they can critically think. And I also don't care if you're Christian or not, as long as you don't force other people to follow your views and morals, then we're cool even though I'm personally an atheist. Anyway, a little about me, I'm a commentator coming from TikTok. I know that's really cringe, but my videos weren't half bad. But don't scroll too far back or you'll see really shit videos.
Apparently, commentators such as myself are very hated by alt TikTok, which good. Why would I care about what the unfunny people have to say?
I know, it's fucking disgusting. Anyways guys, I worked hard on this video, so leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want more content coming your way. And leave a comment on what I should talk about next. This has been McRefund. Peace, bitches.
イエーイお兄ちゃんピースピース